Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of the J&J podcast. We took a short break there. We were on spring break in Destin, so that was a lot of fun. But we're back, and we got a great conversation about the NBA playoffs and the play-in tournament today. So, starting off, let's go with the Hawks versus Heat game.
Yeah, that was a great game. Not as exciting as I thought it would be, but still a good game. We saw the Heat losing, which was definitely a surprise. I don't think we didn't have the Heat winning, we didn't have the Hawks winning.
Nobody thought the Hawks were going to win that, honestly.
I'm not a big fan of the Hawks, but they won, so I'll give them that. They had really good players play that night. They had seven players score over double digits. Clint Capella had 21 rebounds.
Yeah, crazy stat.
Crazy. And, the Heat played well, too. Obviously, they're well known for their defense, but, 116 points for the Hawks, that's a lot.
I will say, I did think Jimmy Butler was going to play a little bit better. I know he had 21 points, but I think of Jimmy Butler in those situations to be like their lead scorer, number one guy they're going to him.
Not Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. Tyler Hero had 26, obviously, but Bam, once again, in the big moment, played really bad. 12 points for him.
Yeah.
It's just...
He needs to, I think with the Heat, they need to involve him and Jimmy more together, or even Tyler Hero and Bam. Because Bam is he's a high flyer. He's a great defensive player. He needs to get more touches around the rim. And Jimmy Butler, we know he's capable of, but shooting 6 of 19 is pretty bad. And Kyle Lowry, if Kyle Lowry didn't put up 33 points and 6 threes, they wouldn't even be close in that game.
Oh, seriously.
So.
And, if they want to beat the Bulls in the next play-in game, which is tonight, I believe, right?
It's tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night? Okay. If they want to beat the Bulls, they're going to have to play well, all those guys, and they're going to have to get Bam more involved.
Yeah.
Because the Bulls, honestly, played great. They came back. Obviously, DeMar DeRozan's kid made a huge difference.
Yeah. What I like about the Hawks right now is they were playing, as a whole team. They were, being efficient and everything. They had 7 players in double digits, as I mentioned, but they had players like Jalen Johnson, Okongwu. They played well off the bench. Sadiq Bey. Those guys need to continue to perform like they are, and they might actually take a couple games from the Celtics.
Yeah, I think the Hawks are a team on paper that looked really good at the beginning of the year. When they got DeJounte Murray, I thought that could really put them in the next step. And I was disappointed to see them play how they've been playing this year. But, that game actually gave me a little bit of hope for them. So, I don't know. It's going to be a tough matchup with the Bucks, but we'll see.
Yeah. All right. So, that night
had the Celtics, not the Bucks.
Yeah. Well, that night we had another good matchup in the Lakers and the Wolves. It was a pretty defensive game. 108 or what was it? 108 to 102. That's in today's day and age of basketball. That's really low scoring.
Yeah, it was a very low scoring game.
Yeah.
LeBron and AD putting up 54 of those points. By the way.
LeBron's still putting up almost triple doubles. Carrying the team. That duo is just so good if they're healthy.
They are a scary team. Not a 7 seed that anyone wants to play by any means, but they're definitely good. It was closer than I thought it would be with Gobert being out, but still.
Well, the Lakers got super lucky that Anthony Edwards did not play good. He did not play good whatsoever. I think he shot 3 for 17.
Oh yeah, it was a really rough game for him.
But yeah, he only had 8 points, but he also, he had 8 rebounds and 7 assists. So at least he was helping or something like that. But obviously the next game is going to be the Wolves and the Pelicans, and Rudy will be back. So we'll see if that really affects how they play.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see if Edwards can get over those playoff jitters.
Yeah.
I guess he played in a series last year, but now this is his team right now, so he's got to step up.
Yeah, I mean, Cat played good. Mike Conley did some help. Kyle Anderson, I think, had 13 assists with 12 points. That's really good to see. But I mean, with the Lakers having the duo of AD and LeBron and supporting players like Dennis Schroeder and Rui Hachimura, who's really stepped up ever since the trade. If they can continue to play good with AD and LeBron, they could go far.
Oh yeah, for sure. So the next game was the
Bulls and Raptors.
Bulls Raptors, yes. Where DeMar DeRozan's daughter actually is a point of conversation now because the whole game was a bit of a controversy. She was in the stands, basically just screaming at every free throw.
They only shot 50% at the free throw line.
18 for 36.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Hey, DR for Depoy.
Seriously,
she's amazing.
Seriously, but Levine turned into prime Kobe for a minute there, and him and DeRozan combined for 62, which was unreal. Big comeback. They're definitely a team to watch. I mean, if the Heat don't play well, maybe they could sneak into that 8 seed.
Maybe. I mean, the duos in that game, Fred and Siakam versus Zach and DeMar. I mean, it was obviously a lot of fun to watch. Zach LaVine what did you say? Zach LaVine and
DeMar, they combined for 62.
62, and Fred had 26, 12, and 8, and Siakam had 32.
So that's a great game.
That's a good game. But yeah, the last game, which was last night, was OKC versus the Pelicans, and now we know OKC is here to play, and we're gonna see how that pans out. So
yeah, seriously, OKC they look great, especially for a young team that's never been in a playoff setting before. I mean, Shea, Giddey, and Dort combined for 90 points, which is unreal. Lou Dort, by the way, in the playoffs is just another. He's a menace. He's a beast. I don't know what's up with him there, but it's awesome to see.
Yeah.
And on the other side, McCollum only made 3 shots the whole night, so that was definitely disappointing because I had the Pels actually making my 8 seed, but it was tough to watch.
But yeah, I mean, the Pelicans played good too, but it was just the outplaying of the Thunder. The Thunder just played better. Both Jalen Williams played really well, not being the main scorers, obviously. They were like the 4th and 5th option, obviously, in the starting lineup. But Jalen Williams with the eye in at center, he put 8 and 8 and 8. So he did everything that they needed him to do. And then Jalen Williams, Jalen, he had like 12 points and a couple rebounds. I mean, that's all you can ask for, to be honest. And then you have those 3 scoring for you at the efficient rate that they were at. And Shea and Giddey were at 50%.
Yeah, so it's unreal. They started off slow too, if I remember. They got most of their scoring in the second half, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a great game. OKC shocked me. I thought they were kind of going to just take a back seat and maybe go for the higher draft pick, even though they have a million draft picks. But
yeah,
they want to be there. They want to play.
Obviously, the Pels and the Wolves are going to be a really good matchup. I mean, if CJ McCollum can play good, I don't know. I mean, BI played really well. He had 36 and 7. Trey Murphy had 20. Herb Jones had 20. I mean, if those guys can play good too, that's just another plus. And then Valanciunas had 16 and 18.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just great. That's all-star type of numbers right there. But I mean, obviously he's not an all-star. But.
So I kind of want to hear a little bit of your thoughts here with the Heat now playing the
Bulls.
Bulls, yeah. With the Heat playing the Bulls.
Or no, the Raptors. The Raptors.
No, the Raptors are out. Raptors got.
Oh yeah.
So the Heat play the Bulls, and OKC plays the Timberwolves. So we got those 2 matchups. And what are your thoughts there?
The Pels are out.
Yeah, the Pelicans are out.
Yeah. So it's yeah. Yeah. Well, for my Heat and Bulls matchup, I definitely have the Heat. I just don't think. I just don't. I mean, if Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan plays like they did against the Raptors, I think they could maybe put up a good fight. But I think the Heat definitely do take this one. I mean, they're a good defensive team.
Mm.
They just have to include Bam, to be honest.
I originally chose the Bulls to be my 8 seed, I believe. But my reasoning for that was I didn't think they were ever going to match up with the Heat. I don't necessarily think that the Bulls are going to win, but I think that it's a possibility with how good Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan are by themselves. They also have Vucevic as well. They could play well.
Yeah.
They're just such an unpredictable team, and you don't know which side of them is going to come out. So for me, it depends on which Bulls show up, and if the good Bulls show up, then they're an 8 seed lock to me. But if the regular season Bulls we've seen all year show up, then they're definitely getting out.
Yeah. So let's talk about the other playing game. What do you think?
So Timberwolves versus OKC. That's a strange matchup. I don't think I've ever seen those two teams play in my life, and I don't necessarily know how they're going to match up because Timberwolves have a lot of size, and OKC plays a little bit smaller with the two Jalen Williams being their two bigs. So it's actually they're two bigs. So Rudy Gobert versus Jalen Williams in the paint, as well as other Jalen Williams versus Cat in the paint. It's going to be strange.
Yeah, I think the Wolves have this in the bag. I think they do secure that 8 seed just because of the size. I mean, and the Thunder don't have much experience, but I mean, if they play like they did against the Pelicans, I mean, that's a really good sign.
For me, I think I'm also going to take the Wolves because, again, OKC hasn't been there, and I think matchup problems are going to be a big issue, and I think the Wolves just want it more. They made such a big trade to acquire Rudy Gobert, which, by the way, I think might be the worst trade in NBA history. It's horrible, just looking at it on paper. But anyways, I think the Timberwolves they have a win-now mindset. They think this team, isn't getting any younger, not getting any better. They got Mike Conley, who's old. They got Gobert, who's a veteran. Even Towns is getting older. I wouldn't say he's old yet, but They want to win, they want to make the playoffs, and they don't want to have nothing to show for that trade. So I got Timberwolves.
Yeah.
All right, and that concludes our play-in predictions here. So now we're going to move into our playoff first-round predictions. Hey guys, thank you for watching our podcast. And if you like this so much, take a quick second to follow our TikTok right here on the screen. All right, so let's dive in here with our first round playoff predictions. We're going to start over in the East. We got Bucks versus either the Bulls or the Heat.
Yeah, I mean, either team, whatever team makes it, I don't think they got much of a chance. To be honest, I think if the Heat make it, I'd say they'd probably get got in 5. I don't think they really would put up much of a fight. I think they're about the same team as they were last year, and the Bucks are just only getting better, and they got Giannis, so it helps a lot. And then if the Bucks play the Bulls, that's a sweep. There's just no way. What do you think?
Yeah, I personally think Bucks versus Heat is a 5-game series, in my opinion. Heat probably take 1 when they're in Miami, but not much else. I don't think this is their season to put up a fight. I don't think they care that much. And Bucks versus Bulls is it's a sweep, in my opinion, because the Bulls care even less than the Heat. And unless Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan put up 100 points, they're probably not winning that game because the Bucks just have way too much. And it's going to overpower the Bulls. So Bucks in 4 or 5, either way. Yeah. So our second series is the 2 versus 7 seed. We now know the Hawks are there. Who you got there?
Honestly, I was not expecting the Hawks at all. I thought it would be the Heat and the Raptors making the 7 and 8 seed. But, I mean, if the Hawks play good, like we saw in the play-in, 7 players in double digits is pretty good. but the Celtics are a really good team. So I could see the Hawks maybe taking one game, but I'd say 5. It's probably
I think
right.
I had the Celtics versus Hawks going to 5 or 6, just because I've seen Trae Young do a lot of damage in the past in the playoffs. And now they have DeJounte Murray, who necessarily hasn't been in the playoffs before. But like it could be cool to see. Maybe they have 1 or 2 good games. Trae Young would have to put on like a master class performance. It would have to be crazy. But I think they could maybe do some damage there, but max 6 at the most. And it's probably not going to 6 either way. But yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah, I agree.
And then Sixers Nets for me. This is one of the series that I probably won't be watching much of.
Bring out the brooms.
Yeah,
the 76ers are going to sweep the Nets no matter what.
Yeah.
There is no way Mikel can carry that team to a couple games even.
Like a 3 seed with 50 wins versus a team that's basically only the 6th seed because they had Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving for half the season.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't think they can put up much of a fight, and the matchup's not quite there for me. So I got Sixers as well.
Yeah, I mean obviously the Nets have been playing good even without KD and Kyrie being traded. But I mean Mikel's playing like an all-star caliber player right now. Cameron Johnson's playing good after that trade. I mean, if they can play good, maybe they take one, but I doubt it. I strongly doubt it.
Yeah, I don't think they have enough there. But this next series is one of the ones that is marked for me. I think I'm going to sit down, watch all these games beginning to end. I got Cavs, Knicks. This is a great series. I can't wait for it.
I personally have Cavs in 6.
Cavs in 6, okay.
Yep. I think with Donovan Mitchell being on the Cavs and the Knicks on the other side, I just don't see a way that the Cavs don't win. I just think they'll just provide a lot of scoring around Donovan Mitchell as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, what do you think?
I think that this is going to be a 7-game series, but I got the Cavs as well. I think the Cavs are young, so they may have some early struggles in the playoffs. I'm not sure. They got bounced last year in the play-in tournament, which was cool. It was not cool to see. I want to see them in the playoffs, but they're young, and the Knicks aren't as young in that aspect. They have guys who have made some, they've been in the playoffs. They've made a couple playoff runs with guys like Jalen Brunson. So I think they have some experience, but I think the Cavs are overall better. So that's why I have the Cavs in 7, but I can't wait to watch these games.
Yeah,
it's great.
I think the Knicks could push it to 7 just because Julius Randle's playing really good. But I'm personally not the biggest fan of Julius Randle just because he's inconsistent. But like if he plays like he's been playing the last like month of the regular season, I mean it'll be a good series either way.
Okay.
So
yeah, for sure.
Let's move on to the West now. This is going to be where everybody's going to be watching the playoffs now. It's the West.
Oh, yeah. I mean, maybe not this first series necessarily, but it may be it's maybe fun to watch if, OKC sneaks in there. Even the Timberwolves wouldn't be horrible to watch, but Nuggets versus the Tims or OKC, who would you have there?
Personally, I think the Wolves will make it. Mm-hmm. But if the Thunder do make it, I think it'll probably be a sweep. And if the Wolves make it, I think the Wolves would take one game. But, I mean, Jokic is playing good. He's MVP. They're top 2 in the MVP race. So, I mean, he can do whatever he wants. Yeah.
For me, I also have the Timberwolves making it. And I think the Nuggets would win and probably about 5 games there. I have 5 down on there. Maybe something crazy happens 6. Probably not, though. And most likely either 4 or 5 games to me.
Yeah.
And then the next series, this is actually a really fun one. Memphis versus Lakers following Dylan Brooks' comments there. He said that they wanted the Lakers and now they have the Lakers. So
yeah. Honestly, this is going to be a really good matchup. obviously the Grizzlies are not really that favorited in the U.S. right now. Obviously, so I mean it'll be fun. Obviously, a lot of people love the Lakers, and I think that the Lakers would probably take a couple games. But I do have the Grizzlies in 6. I think LeBron and AD will go crazy in the playoffs, but I'm not really too confident in the supporting cast as of right now. I would love to see Austin Reeves play really good in the playoffs and help them maybe push it to 7. But yeah, what do you think?
For me, I think these are two teams. Memphis is 100% the villains of the NBA right now, which is really great for the NBA. But the Lakers, for a while, it's either you love the Lakers or you hate the Lakers. I feel like there's not much in between. And they have guys that, have never been there before because they just got traded. So that supporting cast, like you said, is probably more the question than LeBron and AD because they're always going to be great. But I have Memphis in 6 as of right now.
Yeah.
Could be a 7-game series, honestly, which is not something you hear often for a 2 versus 7 seed. But I think Memphis is just all around better from top to bottom of the roster. I think they're going to show it, and they're upset from last year from their loss to the Warriors, and they want to try and make it run.
Yeah, I think with this year's playoffs, literally the 2 through the 8 seed or 2 through the 7 seeds could go to 7 no matter what. The Suns, Clips, Kings, Warriors, Memphis, Lakers could all go to 7, which is very wild. And I mean, I don't think has a 2 and 7 ever been upsetted.
I've never seen it in my lifetime. It might have happened before, but yeah, it's crazy. And I'm surprised we've never heard of it before because I feel like there's a lot of good teams that have injuries early in the year and have guys come back late. So I'm surprised we haven't seen it before because this situation it's kind of fun because it's made the playoffs great.
Mm-hmm.
But the next series, along with the Cavs Knicks, this is one of my favorite ones. I'm definitely going to have this one marked, and I'm going to sit down and watch beginning to end. Kings versus Warriors.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. I personally have the Warriors in 7. I think the only reason why the Kings don't win is just because the Warriors' offense is just so good. They are playing really good right now. Obviously, they were in the 10th seed for a while, around that range, and they shot up to, the 6th seed, which is pretty good. I mean, literally the 2 through 7 is very competitive. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I have the Warriors in 7. So.
Yeah, I think the Warriors could win this series. I wouldn't be shocked if they did. But the Kings are one of my favorite teams, and I love watching them. I've watched a lot of Kings games this year. I have the Kings in 7 as of right now, and it's mostly due to the Warriors' road struggles. I don't necessarily think they're going to lose 4 road games, all 4 of them. But if they drop any home games, then it could be tough because I could definitely see them losing up to 3 of those road games.
Yeah.
But they do have Klay Thompson back at full strength this year, which is something they didn't have last year. And they will not have Andrew Wiggins for the rest of the season due to his personal problems.
Mm-hmm.
Prayers up to Andrew.
Yeah.
We miss him.
We all love him.
But the Kings are great, and I want to see De'Aaron Fox and I want to see Sabonis, make their mark on the league. And maybe the Warriors are going home. I got Kings in 7.
We'll see.
And this is another great series coming up here. The Suns versus the Clippers. No PG, though, which makes it a little bit less interesting.
This series is my personal favorite. But I do have the Suns in 6. Obviously, PG's out. He might come back if they push it to 7. But I just feel like the Suns are playing so good right now. KD's playing really well in the time that he's played it in Phoenix. Booker's playing insane right now. I see the Suns taking it in 6. There's just no way they lose this series, I think.
I agree. I think the Suns are definitely winning this series. And I don't think it's going to be that much of a matchup as of right now. I was really hoping Paul George would come back because that would make the Clippers a little scarier.
Yeah.
But I have Suns in 5 as of right now. I just think that KD and D-Book is going to be too much, and Westbrook may not 100% be there. They're going to have him on every game, and he's not 100% reliable in these situations as a second option. We haven't seen him in recent times be that reliable, consistent guy, because he'll have a 30-point game and then he'll have a 10-point game with 12 turnovers. So it's like, I just don't think they can trust him as their number 2 guy, and that's why I got Suns in 5.
Yeah, I think if Russell does come and play, this will be even better series. I think it could go to 7.
Mm-hmm.
But if Russell doesn't play that well, Kawhi needs to put up that book back, and just freaking carry the crap out of them. Because that's what I think is going to happen. Kawhi's going to go insane.
Yeah, I think Kawhi, and we've seen Kawhi carry a team before, which could be interesting. And he actually beat a Kevin Durant super team before.
Yep. But
Russell Westbrook, I hope he does well. I do like Russell Westbrook as a person a lot and as a basketball player. But if he can play well and he returns to his old self for this series to try and make a little legacy run, it would be lovely to see.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that watch him.
I think this year for the NBA has been one of the best seasons by far. Like, probably one of my favorites since like 2016 when Kobe had his last game against Utah.
Cavs, Warriors.
So many things happened in that season. So
yeah,
I think this has been one of the best seasons in a really long time.
I agree. I started getting back into watching regular season games again, which is something in recent years that I haven't really wanted to do. It's partially because the Pacers were somewhat watchable this year.
Yeah.
But like I was watching just random games on like a Tuesday night, like Kings versus well, not the Grizzlies, that would be a good
Kings
game.
versus Clippers.
Yeah, Kings, Clippers, Blazers, some random thing. Like even the bottom teams I was watching, like maybe not the Pistons, but
yeah.
It was a lot of fun to watch.
The Magic, we were watching a lot of Magic on our fall break because we wanted to see like how Paolo was playing. So I mean that was fun to watch. Detroit got Jaden Ivey. We're from Indiana. We love supporting the Indiana players. So it was fun to watch Detroit for a little bit. I mean obviously they weren't that good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun to watch this season.
Yeah,
for sure.
One of the most even seasons in a long time, and honestly, they did a great job this year. And there wasn't too many problems with people sitting out necessarily. Yeah. I felt like people were playing a lot, and yeah, I agree. This is probably the best season since 2016, and I hope it ends just as well as 2016.
Yeah, I agree.
But that concludes our 3rd episode of the podcast. Thank you guys for bearing with us back from the break. Follow us on our TikTok, J_and_J_pod. And follow us on Instagram. We just made a new account. And subscribe down below. Thank you guys. Have a great rest of your week.